Oh, wow. We are going to go right now. It's copy in the back.
Okay, time to jump in the sauna. Now the fun begins.
160.05 pounds.
So where are these people today? Stand up for him by not going along with the nonsense and the circus that's been created for this farce of a fight, which is between one fighter who is at 2 or 3 weights above the smaller guy. The smaller guy in Conor Ben he has had his career destroyed for one guy. Because once you go up to 160, going down to fight, then at 147, it doesn't work. These rules are in place to provide a rail for him for his career. My son coming down from 168 to 160 puts his life in danger because I know what it is. I know what it is to lose that type of weight. The Super Middleweight Championship of the World came into play in 1991, and we were the first 2 to fight for it because the weight between light heavy and middle was too far, so they put in the 168. Okay? Michael came in at 11 stones 10. Why? I want you to ask Barry why. We are fighters. I'll fight him at any weight. That's how we talk, that's how we think, because we're not going to have our courage challenged. Why was he made to come in at 11 stones 10? You know, what damage did it contribute to the state in which he has been living with for the last 30 odd years?
Chris Eubank's here as well. Sir, you turned up to support your son. What a night.
Well, you know, I was always going to be here for my son, irrespective of what you thought. I mean, it's a show. So suspense is part of the game. Now, the performance, championship rounds, standing toe-to-toe, the credit I'm going to give to Conor. I told you he was a superior fighter, but he shouldn't be fighting at 160 or 156. He's a 147 fighter. What couldn't he do around the world? He's been destroyed by the people who are handling him, and they have to be brought to account. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
It's great to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy KB, back to Get Boxing Is Just Do. Before we get into the video, make sure y'all give me my Just Do by subbing to the channel, smashing the like button, turning them notifications on, so you can be notified when I drop new content, man. We're gonna get right into it. Y'all see it, man. Chris Eubank Jr. finds himself, you know, the target and center of an investigation by the BBOC, the British Board of Control, after his unanimous decision win over Conor Ben this past weekend. You know, we all seen the pictures, and it was well documented, as stated in the article that I put in the video. It was well documented with his weight struggles and different things, with him climbing up out of I don't know if it's a sauna suit or, look, I call it a sleeping bag, with all the blankets and just fully submerged, and it just looked bad to me. And then he climbed up out of there and he stood on his feet and started to flex as if it were a good thing. Now look, he looked in tremendous shape, but he looked very weak. He looked like he was in pain. And you see the different videos around the internet, man, saying he was in pain. You know, Johnny Nelson was one, did a video talking about it, how dangerous this weight cut was. And I heard a couple different videos from his dad. And his concerns about a 147 pounder going up to fight a 68 pounder, the 68 pounder coming down to 60. Then on top of that, they had a rehydration clause of 170 pounds, which Chris Eubank Jr. was able to make before fight night. And the British Border Controller are investigating because it's against the rules for him to use a sauna suit or saunas to cut this weight. And you did see him. It did look like he was in something, I guess you would call a sauna suit. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just not a good look overall, man. I hope everything's on the up and up. And he already faced a steep fine, from the egg slapping with Conor Benn to missing the weight and being fined 350,000 pounds or whatever have you. So he's already been penalized multiple times, for this fight. And I think this would just be, the last straw. This would be unfortunate if he did break the rules at all. Maybe some might not see it as a big deal, but the reason I bring this to y'all attention because on this channel I always talk about the dangers of weight cutting and how crazy and difficult and dangerous it is for these fighters to keep putting themselves, through these rigorous training camps and these, rigorous weight cuts and, depleting their body of all the fluids and then depleting their brain of all the fluids and then trying to put it all back under less than 24 hours and then get in the ring and perform at the highest level. It's almost insane to ask, a fighter to do so. So, Chris Eubank, no doubt about it, man. Shout out to Chris Eubank Jr. He made every sacrifice possible. He did miss weight initially, slightly by half a pound, I think it was, by 0.5 or something to that effect. But he showed you that he went above and beyond to make this weight, and even against his best interest in terms of his health. And like I said, you heard the different concerns from his dad. He's very concerned. He didn't want them to have this fight, and he even threatened not to be in Chris Eubank Jr.'s corner come fight night because he called it a disgrace. But cooler has prevailed, and it was one of the biggest nights of his son's life. So no doubt he had to make an appearance. It was only right. So shout out to both Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. and both families, the Benn family and the Eubank family. They put on for boxing. They put on for themselves. But I, for one, don't want to see a rematch. There's talks of being a rematch in September. I don't need to see it if Chris Eubank got to bull himself back down to 160, and then it's another rehydration clause in the fight. It's just unnecessary. Either Conor Benn moves up to the full 168, or they just put that fight off until he eventually moves up into the weight class. But until then, I think they should go their respective ways and just continue to build on their careers. But that's my thoughts. That's my just do on it, man. Y'all get in the comment section and let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Do y'all even want to see a rematch? And do y'all think Conor Benn done anything wrong? Or excuse me, do you think Chris Eubank Jr. done anything wrong with the, his journey of weight cutting? Because it was well documented for everybody to see. Over 65,000. I think they said it was present watching the documentation of him weight cutting. So it's a nasty part of boxing, but it exists. And I think we got to do our best to educate the fans and the people, and the fighters got to do a better job at, not putting themselves at risk like that. But as always, get in the comment section. Let me know if I gave boxing its just due. Until the next one, I'm out. Peace.